up, everybody? It's your man, Governor Wildstar. Welcome to the Black Side of Liberty. I appreciate each and every one of you out there that are watching and tuning in because I have a very special guest who I'll be introducing to you in just a moment. But, first and foremost, I want to give shout outs to all of you out there that are definitely spreading the message and helping me grow my audience. All of you, what you're doing, no matter what you're doing, no matter if it's just sharing a post or commenting on one of my posts, or whether it be positively or negatively, you are helping me spread the message and get the word out there about who I am and what I'm doing in the liberty movement and what I'm motivating others to do as well. So please continue to share any and all of my posts, any one of these videos, these Black Side of Liberty interviews with all my wonderful guests. And of course, please continue to subscribe. I got nearly 27,000 subscribers on YouTube. I want to hit 30,000 as soon as possible. So let's continue to promote these videos. Any of my videos on my YouTube channel, please do so. And of course, if you want to connect with me on social media, visit my website, governorwildstar.com. You'll see that here scrolling by throughout the broadcast, throughout the show. So please visit the website, connect with me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever the case may be. And let's just keep letting everybody know what in the know of what's going on, because we cannot depend on the mainstream media, the mainstream news to let us know what's really going on. We need word on the street, word from the horse's mouth itself. You know what I'm saying? And I'm happy, more than happy, to speak up for we the people. And that's what I'll continue to do. So please continue to help me do exactly that. And another way that you can help is by donating, of course. All of your contributions go to this wonderful cause of advancing liberty. You have the right-wing supporters and, donors, and left-wing supporters and donors. We need people right here in the center fighting for freedom, to have an opportunity to be heard. So those contributions go towards getting these videos out there promoted, as well as, like I said, an opportunity to hopefully serve we the people in office. Speaking of, I want to drop that really quickly before I introduce my guest, because I'm making strides. Just this week, you guys, I dropped my crowd pack information. I just want to show y'all that here. I dropped my crowd pack information on Monday, which you see down at the bottom, which is crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar4Gov. You can go there now. I dropped it on Monday, exploratory committee to hit $10,000 so I can run for governor. Y'all don't think I'm serious? Look at that amount. Okay? I look at this face. I'm serious. And so far, I've raised over $1,000 in just a few days. So there are definitely people out there that are taking this cause seriously and want to see somebody like Gavin Newsom be replaced by yours truly. And that's what I would like to do. So please contribute whatever you can and help me get in office so we can get rid of Gavin Newsom, this gruesome Newsom guy. But with no further ado, we'll talk about that a little later. But I do appreciate you guys for contributing. The person that gave $1,000, I can't thank you enough for just blowing my mind with what you've done to help me and help the people of California. I don't know if you're in California or not, but we'll find out more about you and hopefully give the people of California an opportunity to learn more about me as well. But like I said, with no further ado, I want to introduce my guest who has been patiently waiting backstage, Nikki for Liberty. Hold on, let me get this right. I'm running my own shit. Nikki for Liberty is in the house. Nikki Giver, you're a giver, not a taker, right?
Exactly.
All right, cool. So I got that right. Nikki Giver is in the house, and welcome, Nikki, to the Black Side of Liberty.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. This is the first time I've ever done anything live on Facebook, YouTube, or even politically related. So it's a first for everything. Yeah.
All right. Well, the honor is all mine. Thank you. since this is your first time, we'll take it easy on you a little.
Okay.
But it does get a little bit difficult around here on the Black side of Liberty. So I appreciate you for sitting in the hot seat and speaking up for liberty. I mean, and not too many people are willing to take up what feels like a lost cause sometimes, especially when you have candidates out there running as libertarians for the Libertarian Party and getting shunned by the mainstream media. So it's crazy because this medium that we have of social media gives us an opportunity to connect on a level that the mainstream media does not. And that's actually how we came about connecting with each other, is through the cause of liberty. And I don't know, Facebook or Instagram, whatever the case may be, we've been keeping in touch with each other via social media. And I thank you for being my friend. And like I said, for being here on the Black side of Liberty. So I do know a little bit about you, but I do want to find out more. And I'm sure my audience will as well. So if you could tell us, who is Nikki Giver?
So I am from Arizona, born and raised. I even went to ASU, and I have always loved politics, tried to stay involved in politics as much as possible. And I mean, that even went down to doing the rights for immigrants marches and against Sheriff Joe Arpaio in Arizona. I mean, hey, I've even been pepper sprayed. So I was still living at home with my parents and, trying to fight the good fight and, bringing awareness to all of this. And then it kind of fell to the wayside a little bit. I kind of got a little bit lost. And then I would say about January or so, I was starting to get real irritated. And I felt kind of lost, and that irritation and anger kept building up. And I did more research after learning a little bit more of the Libertarian Party, and I went, "Holy shit! That describes me. That wanting freedom for myself and for my fellow people and for the fellow people of America and anybody else who deserves that freedom."
Right.
Yeah.
And you're very brave, like I said, to pick up that torch of liberty. And in a state like Arizona, definitely, which tends to be more conservative, Republican, of course, I guess, leaning state. And you have people like Jan Brewer, who was the governor of the state, who basically wanted to oust many of the large Hispanic population there.
Mm-hmm.
Made it very difficult, like you said, Sheriff Arpaio, whatever his name is, was the person, either a representative of the people. So you're very brave to be fighting against those type of individuals, but you took it upon yourself to basically say, enough is enough. Mm-hmm. I'm going to advocate for liberty, get out there and speak out for it. And, it seems like the easy way out would be for you to, I guess, promote yourself as a Tea Party Republican, or maybe even a right-wing Republican, since it is a red state.
Yeah.
But again, you're pushing the gold.
Yeah.
Really ballsy. Why is a website that's dedicated to promoting liberty? I mean, rediscoveringliberty.org, you're a blogger for it. You said, I'm pissed off. I'm just going to start getting out these articles. Hopefully people will read it. Hopefully people will connect with it. Mm-hmm. And, of course, spread that information with each other. So why do that? Why dedicate a website to liberty itself?
Well, it seemed that it was the best route to go, considering that we are in the digital age, and that is how I can reach most of my audience. And I have a degree in linguistics, so I am a writer. I love language, and that is how I reach my friends, family, and my fellow libertarians, is through doing that. So the blog just seemed natural, and I had a lot of posts ready to go, and then all of a sudden COVID-19 happened. I started working from home, so I kind of was a little bit too overwhelmed, so I took a break from writing. But I have a very good philosophy of, if something is meant to be, it will show itself back into your life. And then you contacted me and I went, what have I been doing? I need to get out of this hole. Like, get me out of here. And then I started blogging again. And now I have all of my posts ready to go. And that anger and that confusion that I had during that hiatus and that quiet time is fueling the positivity that I have to promote liberty. I needed something that would allow people like me who kind of felt confused as to what party they belonged to, who didn't really know how to identify themselves, a place to just find commonality and to throw out the differences that we have and find that common ground.
Yeah, and there aren't many of them out there. It's like a public forum on the internet, especially a social media platform even, where you can kind of speak against the right, against the left, or for the right or for the left, or whatever the case may be, and actually feel free in expressing yourself without being attacked. But finding those safe zones where you can speak or be at liberty to speak freely among like minds and advance the whole, hey, do as you want to do, do as you please, as long as you don't harm other people. I don't care.
Exactly.
You can smoke all the weed or meth that you want. If it leads to your detriment, that's your decision,
Exactly.
And we don't really live by those principles, but it's kind of like perfect timing for you to drop the website and then have this whole coronavirus thing happening. So it is kind of like you're destined to do that. I'm just letting you know, just saying.
I know.
But as far as reaching out to people and using the internet to reach out to the public, you would think that the libertarians would take advantage of that. You don't see many libertarian candidates actually utilizing it to its full capability, and kind of took it for granted in the past, but now it's very needed. So you've been out there promoting Joe Jorgensen, I saw, who is a libertarian candidate running for president of the United States of America. And you would think that with her being a white woman and her running for president, that more white women in the country would actually be behind supporting her candidacy. So I want to ask you, if you could, explain to me, why do you think that more white women in the United States of America aren't backing Joe Jorgensen like they did, Hillary Clinton, and hell, right now are backing Joe Biden for some damn reason?
I honestly think that it has to do with the almost indoctrination of that two-party system that we have been so accustomed to and that we have grown to know, Democrat or Republican. And a lot of people don't know about the Libertarian Party. I certainly didn't really know about the Libertarian Party until last year, about this time. And especially as a woman, I had no idea about the Libertarian Party. I've talked to my family about why they're voting for, why they're voting Democrat or Republican. And they just say, that's because that's what I've been doing for so long, voting Democrat or Republican. Or I don't like Trump, I'm going to vote Democrat no matter what. But yet there's a female candidate who's a libertarian, who stands for liberty. Why wouldn't you vote for them when you backed Hillary so, almost vehemently? You were so behind Hillary, you wanted to break that glass ceiling, but yet there's another female candidate, and I don't see that same enthusiasm. And there's no real answer when I've asked, my female friends. They just, who's that? And so then I end up having to advocate, which is totally fine, but I have to kind of push them towards, there are other female candidates out there that stand for better principles than what Joe Biden certainly is doing.
Right. So it sounds to me more so like you have discovered that more people are comfortable with virtue signaling. They say they are for these causes. They say that they're for these rights and freedoms and liberties, etc. But then when it comes to actually following through, showing up, taking action, they don't do it. If you're supposed feminists or, pro women's rights, you would do your research to want to find out who are the actual women running for office wherever you are, every election cycle.
Exactly. And there's nothing wrong with learning more and, making a mistake or realizing maybe you shouldn't have said that or backed a certain candidate because they don't stand for everything that you believe in. And I'm 100% for learning from your mistakes. We're not perfect, but there's no reason to be ignorant of valid information and the facts, and also wanting to learn and getting out there and realizing that there are more than just two political parties.
Right, absolutely. Yeah, you're right. There is no excuse. I mean, Obama tricked me with the whole hope thing, but a month into his election, I realized he was a fraud, and I did everything in my power to use all of my, network connections, etc., to let people know how he was deceiving the American public. So you're right. It is kind of like our responsibility, and we can't be reliant on the powers that be, the two-party system, the corporate-owned media system to provide us with the truth, especially with the necessary tools to free us all as individuals.
Exactly.
Yeah, so it's sad that you see that happening, but one of the other things that's, I guess, is being disseminated as misinformation in the news to mislead us people and use scare tactics into getting us into this position of compliance and subservience is this whole coronavirus thing. And Arizona is one of the, I guess, places that is spoken about in the news because it has a Republican governor and who has been a bit light as far as locking down on the state. Unlike here in California, the damn governor is a tyrant. So with no reason at all, especially when it comes to coronavirus deaths and people that have really been affected by the virus itself. So with you living in, where do you live, by the way? And what city?
I am in Phoenix. I am kind of in the northern part of the Phoenix area, but I've lived in Mesa, Gilbert, Tempe. I've pretty much stayed in Arizona.
All right, cool. So with you being in Phoenix and seeing how things are locally, how has the response been in the community over this whole coronavirus thing? Are people just crazy as hell? Are they fighting people over wearing a mask or not like they are here in California? What's going on?
Everybody seems to be pretty compliant in the sense of going to the grocery store or to a restaurant when they're picking up food. But that's because stores have mandated mask rules or laws, however you want to view it, for their personal store. I have been reading some comments on my Facebook, from Facebook friends that say that, masks need to be a law no matter what. And while I have a different view on that, I feel like that does infringe personal liberty. It does not allow somebody to take governance over themselves. It's 100% within the store owners or the corporation that's running the store, like Fry's or Kroger. That's within their right to have a mask mandate. But if I don't want to wear a mask and I want to go into Fry's and they have a mask mandate, well, then I just don't shop at Fry's. I can get grocery delivery. I can get Postmates. I can do store pickup and have them put it in the trunk of my car. So it's, from my kind of millennial friend group, it's been mostly just mandate the masks. Everybody stays inside for the next 2 weeks to 2 months and nobody leaves so that this can get under control. But for me, I live with somebody that's at risk, and I make sure that I take my temperature every day. If I go outside, I know where I need to wear a mask, and I will wear one because that's my own personal liberty. That's my freedom. I will wear one if I want to. But like in I'm just going to jump to Jerome. I went to a small town in Arizona called Jerome, and some of the stores did not have mask mandates. And that's fine. That's the store owner's prerogative. I don't have to shop at that store if I don't feel comfortable. And if somebody wants to throw a fit, that's 100% within the store owner's right to kick them out.
Right.
I think social distancing definitely helps with COVID-19, or what I like to call the Rona. I know so many people calling it the Rona.
Yeah, for sure.
But I feel like the media has taken this and making it some extreme bear that it didn't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
That I don't check the news that much. I read numbers from the CDC or the Arizona Health Department so that I can get my news source from there. I don't rely what's on the local news station or anything like that. I try to stay as far away from that as possible unless absolutely necessary.
Yeah, it's like they use more fear mongering in the news than the actual government officials and experts, I guess, that are in the know of what's going on. And it's sad that more people are being more responsive to the scare tactics, the fear mongering more than anything. You brought up a great point, which was, with you being a millennial, a lot of younger people seem to be responding more so for in support of these encroachments on liberty, infringements on our rights, to force us to wear masks, to force us to stay indoors, and they're okay with it. Why do you think that is among the younger people, especially to, be so subservient to authority? Wouldn't you think we would be anti-government?
I think in some sense, my generation and the generation younger than I am, we are a little bit less, we are leery of the government. But when it comes to public health, I feel that we band together and we try to do what's best. And, I really don't have an answer as to why a lot of people in my age group are for total overseeing of government control with the masks instead of it being left to even like small local government or even personal responsibility. I haven't quite tapped that one out yet, so I might have to do some sort of poll on Instagram or Facebook and get an answer and blog about it later. But I don't feel like I belong to that millennial group. I don't trust the government. I believe in personal liberty, and that means I can wear a mask if I want to, and if it's my responsibility to keep other people safe.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if that answers the question, but
in a nutshell, that's basically what it is. It's kind of like this phenomena that's happening with regards to the shift in culture, with where us younger people tend to be anti-establishment. But then when it comes to health issues, global issues, like the environment, we feel like we should band behind government and support them. Wait a minute. We just said we don't trust their asses. What?
Right.
It doesn't make any damn sense.
Exactly.
But shifting the responsibility onto the business owners, of course, makes more logical, common sense. And instead of people thinking logical, common sense, they let the powers that be control their minds. So you're absolutely right. It makes more sense to where if a business, Fry's, now Walmart has mandated it across the country. So even if the states or cities, start to remove some restrictions, those businesses can now make it more restrictive towards people coming in there wanting to spend their money. And if that's the case, just don't go there. It's that damn simple,
Well, and, I have a dentist appointment tomorrow morning, and they're going to take my temperature. They're going to, I have to wear a mask. And that's my choice to make my dental appointment. I want to make sure that my dental health is, in tip-top shape. But if I didn't want to comply to their rules, I just wouldn't go to the dentist. Like, that's just the way it is. That's why I believe in personal liberty. I was talking to one of my friends on Facebook, and she's a couple years younger than I am. And I said, if we want everybody to wear masks, and I was semi-joking, if we want to make this an overseeing law, I was in no way serious. We should just say that it helps with facial recognition. I mean, we're so concerned about TikTok and, data being compromised in our, facial recognition, but we're not concerned about the government saying everybody has to wear a mask. If we want to spin it in a way that it makes it help with facial recognition, spin it in that way. I don't care. That's your own prerogative. But it's just, to me, it was kind of like a double, not a double-edged sword, but it just didn't make sense. Like, it just did not make sense.
It really doesn't. Like I said, a lot of people's arguments and I guess position on the matter really doesn't make sense when they're not thinking logically and common sense. If this virus is as deadly as they say, why weren't we ever wearing masks? Why is it that in countries where, especially in like countries where the religion is, Islam, they wear burqas. They're wearing coverings from head to toe.
Yeah.
They still are having cases of coronavirus there.
Yeah.
What the hell is up with that? You know what I'm saying?
And that would be a very good almost social aspect or like a cultural study to look into alongside of science and see where that kind of pinpoints or where that intersects. Other than that, I feel like we're all running around like chickens with their heads cut off, and nobody knows what to do. Nobody knows how to handle this, especially in your local government, the federal government. And that's why I feel like it's on me to be safe and to make sure that other people in my family are safe.
Well, yeah, individual responsibility.
Yes.
That's where it starts first and foremost. And we definitely should be protecting ourselves. And you brought up another good point, actually, which is a lot of people are even compromising their own personal health, mental health, physical health, because of this coronavirus thing. Has nothing to do with the virus itself, but they won't go to a dentist appointment. They won't go outside and exercise. It's just like they're putting their own physical health in jeopardy, and that's ending up being another result or threat on that person's health, on our health as a community, by the coronavirus. It's a ripple effect,
Yeah, it really is. And it's also a ripple effect on the economy. People that are not able to, work from home, that have lost their jobs, that are relying on unemployment or that $1,200 stimulus check. It's hurting their physical, mental, and emotional health with themselves if they live alone or with the people that they live with. I was talking to my boyfriend back when this started, and I said, one of the largest side effects that we're going to see of COVID-19 is not only people getting sick and people dying, it's going to be people dying because they don't have the resources to survive physically and mentally. They won't be able to afford groceries or gas or anything like that, especially with $1,200. That makes no sense to me, that, the government says they want to help us, but yet they give a bailout to giant companies that can afford to pay all their employees and that can live, comfortably during a pandemic, while we're over here, some of us not making a lot of money, sitting and going, can I pay my electric bill? Especially in Arizona, am I going to be able to afford electric so that I don't roast?
That's crazy. And shit, in a place like Arizona, the whole state should be powered by solar. Y'all should have free power. That would be y'all just baking to the sun.
I know. I used to, I owned a house and I thought about getting solar. But then it was kind of you can rent it until it's paid off and then it's free energy. And I go, what's the point of having solar if I have to rent the equipment and I can't buy it outright. I'm sure you can buy it outright somewhere, but
Right.
and then I have to, wait for a few years for it to start benefiting me. What if I'm living in like Pennsylvania or Kentucky next year? That's not going to help anything.
Yeah, that's the monopolization of the market right there, and which is why we need more free market, opportunities, so we can buy solar products for our home at a better rate, and
Yes.
not have it be regulated by government. I know people think that government should be regulating everything, but just pointed out a way where government regulation prevents homeowners from being able to, buy solar panels and have solar power for their homes. So
Yeah.
it's possible that this government control has affected us. And you brought up another great thing. Keep going over here. Keep going.
Okay.
How it's affecting our economy. And that's another thing that I kind of want to roll on to is another, I guess, issue that's been spoken about in the news recently, due to some celebrities such as, I forgot his name, Deshaun Jackson, who's a football player, and Nick Cannon, who has been, I guess, damned for using anti-Semitic comments. I'm not sure if you heard about this, but supposedly he did this interview, and in the interview he made some hateful comments towards Jews, which, if you see the interview, wasn't hateful at all. But for some reason, they attached this anti-Semitism with hate towards Jews, when in the video, he was mainly just saying that the original people from Israel, from, kind of had this skin color, and that's something that is irrefutable. And, but since he made these comments, he's been damned by the I guess mainstream news, and fired from Viacom CBS. So his TV show, what is it, Wild 'N Out, has been canceled.
Oh, wow.
Further notice or whatever. But anyways, when you talk about economy, one thing that I want to bring up, because when we say anti-Semitism, is that really being anti-Jewish? And when we're talking about our money, because one thing I want to say is I have a problem with America giving our money in financial aid to other countries, period. I don't care who the other country is. We be giving our money to our people. Like you said, $1,200 ain't enough. You're giving it to multi-million, billion-dollar companies. Why aren't you giving it to us? You're giving it to other countries, such as Israel, who receives financial aid to the tune of hundreds of millions of dollars, taxpayer dollars, a year. So I want to ask you a question, which is anti-Semitism anti-American? Because that seems to be the message when it comes to speaking against Americans' relationship with Israel or Judaism or whatever the case may be. When you would think we're a country of freedom of speech, we should be able to speak our minds. You can speak against, Muslims and say you want to blow up their country, or black people or white people or Hispanics and immigrants got to go. And you can say all of this freely. But the minute you say something about some Jews, you got to go. Why?
Yeah. I have noticed that quite a bit, and that's kind of a tough question to answer, because I believe that as with our freedom of speech, you are free to say whatever you want, and sometimes there are consequences to what you say, like Deshaun, getting, I guess, canceled would be the way to put it in today's terms. But as far as my viewpoint of anti-Semitism being anti-American, I would have to say that in my viewpoint, it somewhat is. You are allowed to speak out freely with what you want to say. But for me, speaking hatefully, or even in a tone that isn't necessarily kind, is not libertarian at all. You want to not harm anybody. You want to make sure that everybody is kind to each other and that doesn't come back negatively on you. You have to kind of be a little controversial, but you also have to make sure that you're aware of what you say.
Absolutely. And you're right. The freedom of speech doesn't mean freedom of consequence. I actually spoke about that on my show here recently. And it is a matter of people taking responsibility for what they say.
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to being anti-Semitic, his comments more so just spoke about, again, the true origins of the Israelites and the people of the Bible, and if Jesus had hair, that resembled wool and skin of copper, but you look at a picture of him and he has blonde hair and blue eyes, kind of contradicts that those words in scripture. Yep. So again, when this anti-Semitic tone, he didn't say anything hateful, mm-hmm. but has now been canceled because of it. Yeah. Same thing happened with Deshaun Jackson. It was, he didn't really say anything hateful. He was just simply stating the facts. Now, they have to deal with this whole blowback because of it. So when it comes to freedom of speech, they're now being persecuted for it when really they didn't say anything that was hateful or, I don't know.
Well, and, I don't think that stating facts about where somebody is from, I mean, Jesus is not white. The area that he comes from does not, I mean, he would not look like me. He would not look like my brother-in-law. That's just, that's fact. He doesn't come from Norway or Germany. He came from the Middle East. And, I grew up Catholic. I'm not Catholic anymore, but white Jesus was everywhere, and that was taught to me in school. So it was a giant wake-up call about, I would say, 10 or so years ago when I realized that Jesus was not white. That shook my whole foundation, and then I started researching, and I was like, this was all a lie. And, more accurate depictions of Christ or people from that era, especially in Renaissance art, were totally inaccurate for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody shouldn't be canceled or persecuted for stating that, if somebody's from a certain region. I mean, I feel like I don't have as much liberty, I guess, to speak on skin color because I have certain privileges, but that's a whole other topic of discussion. But, certain people from certain areas look different and they have a different skin color. And to say that they're olive toned or brown or black and that be fact is not wrong.
Right. And one thing that you brought up earlier in our conversation was to say that, we shouldn't be damning people from learning from their mistakes.
Right.
And one thing about American history is that it's full of mistakes, but nobody seems to want to take accountability. I spoke to a black man the other day who said he just found out, he was probably in his, mid, late 30s, something like that, has 5 kids, just found out that Christopher Columbus didn't discover America, So with you being a younger person also and, coming to this discovery to finding out again, this white Jesus image that you grew up with was historically inaccurate, wouldn't it be our responsibility to start correcting these mistakes, start taking accountability for our actions, and want to move forward in a direction where we're embracing the truth and instead of damning each other for it and canceling each other and harming each other? It's counterproductive.
Yes. And I 100% believe that education is one of the most powerful ways to connect with somebody. And, sometimes that person doesn't want to be educated on a certain subject and, be brought to historical facts or be corrected. That's just the way that they are. And if they're like that, then maybe you need to think about removing them from your life or from your social circle. But, part of my accountability, if I make a mistake, I own up to it. It might be embarrassing. I've said a lot of stupid stuff in my past, but that's all part of the learning and growing process. And if you don't do something like that, it's almost like there's some sort of disconnect. I don't feel like I'd be able to connect with you. I want to be able to know where you made your mistakes, how you made them, and what you did to correct them, so that I can also learn from your mistakes and not make the same ones and make an educated decision for my future.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, because people want to attack me or attack you or attack Nick Cannon or others, simply off of what they heard by hearsay, instead of finding out facts for themselves to find out what is really the issue. Exactly. And if it's a matter of discovery, you doing some research, you doing your homework, finding out the truth on your own, then that's when you truly can form an opinion. And we see this kind of knee-jerk reaction happening right now. Some guy just said, "Oh, you're defending Nick Cannon on here or whatever. You're a clown." Yeah. Andrew Upshaw, who just said that. So, yeah, but Nick Cannon has said pretty much, he turned to Viacom and he said, "If I'm wrong, prove me wrong. Other than that, I'm going to speak on the facts of the matter, this truth that I've learned." And I think that's how a great way to approach it is to, hey, let's have this conversation to where open it up for dialogue, like you said, to where we can learn from each other. Where did I make those mistakes? Where am I wrong?
Right.
And if you want to teach me otherwise, please do.
Exactly. And I'm not necessarily saying that I'm defending Nick Cannon. As for me personally, as a libertarian, I will always defend the right to free speech and to think what you want. That's the part that I'm standing up for. He can say whatever he wants. Nick Cannon can stand on top of Mount Everest and say, "I'm the color purple and aliens exist." That's totally fine with me. Like, he might be right, he might be wrong. I just don't want the freedom of speech to become a part of cancel culture. I don't think we need to cancel people just because they say something controversial. We need to open a dialogue with them, like you said, and we need to learn why they have that opinion. We need to learn where they got that opinion, and we need to learn where we can find commonalities so that we can see where they're coming from.
Yeah, absolutely. And we can be wielding freedom of speech as a weapon, because that's when it's not going to be beneficial to us. Like you said, I would question that person that is out there that's using hate speech and saying, "What? I'm just speaking my mind."
Right.
And that a lot of people are hearing hate speech, hateful comments that people are making, and defending those individuals under the veil of, well, they're just speaking their mind. But that non-aggression principle that we live by naturally as human beings, which is treat others as you want to be treated, the golden rule of life. We all know that inherently, and we know that and respect that naturally. So we don't need anybody to tell us to do it. But now it seems like some people need to be told what to do. It's sad.
Yeah. Yep. On my Instagram, I just recently made it public again. I had some issues where I needed to make it private. The first thing that you see is do what you want, but cause no harm. And that is such a personal motto for me. I wrote about that in my blog. And getting really personal here, I'm a practicing witch. That is one of our main things. I believe in the rule of 3. You cast something negative out, it can come back 3 times just as bad. So not only was my motto aligned with the libertarian movement, it's just been something that's been, with me for almost 30 years. That whole idea of do what you want, but cause no harm.
Right, exactly.
And we really have to learn. We really have to, acknowledge that and live up to that standard.
Yeah, it's like it's a forgotten practice, not among our culture is just love each other, treat each other with respect, and I don't know who the parents are that have raised the people that think otherwise, but it's up to us as a society, and us as brothers and sisters of our countrymen to make sure that we are holding these truths and values to some degree, or else all is lost, and we're going to lose the unity that brings us all together.
Right. And a lot of that is we're focusing so much on the differences that we hold. I can't tell you how many friends I've lost and then regained a friendship back where, they voted for Trump and I got so mad at them. But that was just that one aspect. Do I agree with his policies? No. Do I like him as president? No. But that's my own personal opinion. But I was able to eventually put that aside and have an actual discussion with my friend and learn where he was coming from, why he chose, President Trump for the election. And then that's not a hostile conversation that we have anymore. It's a very open and understanding conversation, because if we don't understand, if we can't learn from other people, we're going to be stuck in the same routine over and over again, and we will never learn. We will never progress to the next step.
Exactly. You're right about that. It's sad that people are happy being stuck in this, cycle of insanity, doing the same thing over and over. It's like, that's why I can't understand people that do vote for the two-party system in general, because in my short lifetime, it served me no purpose. Voting for a Republican, voting for a Democrat. I wish the Republican that I voted for, the only damn Republican I ever voted for, which is Ron Paul, actually got elected. Then he can prove to people how libertarianism as a philosophy can free us all, black, white, whatever the case may be, free all Americans. And that's what we want. That's what these supposed politicians promote, Republican or Democrat, but we don't see that. So ditching the two-party system is the smartest thing, getting away from that dynamic. But it's sad that you can't talk to, you can't even say you have friends that supported Trump, and even though you don't agree with them, you can't,
I'm surprised
just because of it.
Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't get canceled, by a couple family members, when I said I have friends who voted for Trump. And that's a sad reality. I think it's also my responsibility, and anybody who's going to have a conversation with somebody that they don't agree with politically or, on any sense of the word of agreement, they need to go in with an open mind, and they need to go in with it calmly. Nobody's going to listen to somebody who's screaming at them or who's just trying to force facts. It needs to be an open discussion both ways in a very neutral way.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you having this back and forth neutral, conversation with me, because I'm pretty sure I packed all the questions for you. Hopefully, didn't dig too deep, but you did very well. Do you have?
Thank you.
Well. I'm getting you trained to be a politician. We're going to put her to run for office. Everybody, Nikki Giver in Phoenix, Arizona. I appreciate you for being on the Black Side of Liberty. Before I let you go, I do want to kind of, lighten things up a little bit. And one thing I like to do here on the Black Side of Liberty is dispel any rumors or, stereotypes we may have about each other, Okay. And one thing I've learned is that people think that, playing in a hydrant is something that, something that only a specific group of people do. So I want to ask you, have you ever played in an open fire hydrant? It's hot as hell out there in Arizona now.
I can't say that I remember ever playing in a fire hydrant, but I've always wanted to. So if there is ever an open fire hydrant that I see, you can bet your ass I'm jumping in that, pulling my car over, pulling the motorcycle over, and I'm going to play in it. Because, that's just fun. That's not stereotype. Right. It's just straight fun.
For sure. And it's not a ghetto thing. It's not
No.
something that just happens in Black neighborhoods. I've actually seen a majority of times in white neighborhoods growing up. So friends that I've had from all walks of life have enjoyed many things, one of them being partying in the damn open fire hydrant. So if you haven't had that experience like Nikki Giver has it, please pop one off. The water will be there. We'll take care of it. If the fire happens, we'll make sure the fire gets out, and then the firefighters get all that they need to do their job. But shit, it's hot. You paying for it with your taxes, so you might as well have some fun. You know what I'm saying? And since we shut down the pools and the beaches, like here in California, how you gonna keep public people from going out to the damn beach?
I know.
106 degrees outside.
I know. It's 116 here, and it's too hot to function. It's like cancel culture has extended over to beaches and restaurants and public pools.
You're right about that. Yeah, it seems like everything is getting canceled these days. I would love for freedom not to get canceled. I would love for liberty and my rights not to get canceled.
Yes.
But people are more embracing of this groupthink. I don't know, type of idea more than us having individual liberties stand first and foremost. I don't believe in majority rule. I think first things first, we should be taking accountability for ourselves, making our own decisions. And since it's my body, my choice, let me choose what I want to do. If I want to wear a mask, let me wear a mask, But if you're wearing a mask and you feel like I should be wearing a mask, it's an infringement on my rights if you want to use government to force me to wear a mask. So you're right. Cancel culture has gone too far. Hopefully we'll be able to cancel culture soon.
I think that needs to be a shirt. Cancel culture.
I like that idea. Well, again, Nikki Giver, you guys, she is a blogger and founder of rediscoveringliberty.org. Please connect with her here on Instagram and Twitter at Nikki4Liberty, or on Facebook at NicoleMarie.Giver. We want to help her increase our audience as well. So if you're watching out there and you love what she had to say, please connect with her. Please communicate with her, and please let's all come together so we can fight for liberty, right?
Yes.
All right. Well, Nikki Giver, again, I appreciate you for being on the black side of liberty. We definitely got to do this again.
Oh, of course, 100%. Let me know.
You got it, my friend. Well, till next time, long live liberty. Peace.
All right. Peace.
All right, you guys, that was Nikki Giver, who again is the founder of rediscoveringliberty.org. So please go on over to the website, check out her blogs there. Please share any of the articles there. Connect with her on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and let's let the people of Phoenix, of Arizona know more about her, because hopefully we're going to get her to run for office, right? That would be wonderful. And to all of you out there that were watching, I appreciate all of your comments. Mike McFarland, Dragon, Wes, TJ, Jacob, Brand, Felipe, Weed, the people, my solar expert. Wonderful, wonderful viewers out there. I thank you all for tuning in. Please, like I said, share this video, share, subscribe, donate, GovernorWildstar.com. And more importantly, please definitely let those people know nearby, wherever you are, if they haven't voted, to vote, go out and vote Libertarian, because there are still elections happening, and we need to make sure that the Libertarian candidates are getting on the ballot. If you vote for the Libertarian presidential candidate, that gives everybody else, all of those local candidates, ballot access. There are some people, cities and states, where the candidates, Libertarian candidates, do not have ballot access. So please make sure that you vote Libertarian. Jo Jorgensen, give her a better voting percentage, so those candidates on the down ballot have an opportunity to get ballot access. Nikki Giver, on her rediscoveringliberty.org website just talked about how mail-in ballots have prevented her from being able to have access to the Libertarian candidates. And yeah, they're all write-in candidates. That's awful. We want to get them ballot access. They shouldn't have to struggle so people can know to write them in. They're not going to do that. You're not going to do that. And when has a write-in candidacy ever been successful? So please make sure that these candidates have an opportunity to get on the ballot by voting Libertarian Jo Jorgensen. Let's make it happen now and get her a better percentage so she also can have an opportunity to get into the presidential debates, which will be happening very soon. We want to make sure that we can let her speak. Let her speak. Jo Jorgensen, we want to hear her on that presidential stage as a candidate during the debates. So please vote for her if you haven't had your primary wherever you are. And speaking of voting, don't you guys want to vote to recall Gavin Newsom? Especially if you live in California. Or better yet, riddle me this. And I just heard this from someone because they talked about where Gavin Newsom has come from and where is he headed and what his political future look like. And if he were a President Newsom, he'd be doing now to the entire country what he's doing to California, okay? If you live in anywhere in the country and you look at what's going on here in California, Gavin Newsom is putting himself in position to where come 2024, he'll be the leading candidate for the Democratic Party, and most likely he'll be nominated as a presidential candidate for the Democratic Party in 2024. And if people continue to do this stupid two-party system bullshit, he'll end up getting elected. We don't want that to happen. We don't want the entire country to fail like the state of California is failing. So for the people in the state, we want to get him out of office. Please help us recall him now. We're actually having a rally. Let me pull that up on my screen now and share that with you guys. Oh, wait, hold on. This one here. There we go. Okay. Oh, wait, no, hold on. That's next show. I'll be bringing that up. See, this is why I need some help doing my thing. Okay, so anyways, yeah, there we go. Recall Newsom 2020. We're having a rally in Ventura. It's a peaceful protest. I'll be there. MAGA Hawk will be there. This huge ass guy with muscles. Dr. Shanae Anderson will be there. And other advocates for liberty, freedom, and justice for all will be there as well. We are being attacked right now by some people that are targeting our group and calling us racist. We are definitely not. We want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to hear about what's going on with our organization so they can get involved. And hopefully, like I said, give we the people of California an opportunity to recall Gavin Newsom. So please share this flyer. Go to recallgavin2020.com, recallgavin2020.com, like it says down at the bottom of the screen, recallgavin2020.com. Print out that petition, sign that petition, have your friends and family sign that petition, and then send that in to the P.O. box down at the bottom of the petition. That's all you got to do. 3-step process. Sign, print, sign, and send it in, okay? And then give us a chance to recall Governor Gavin Newsom now. And we definitely want to do that because, like I said, I would love to take over that seat as the governor of California and give we the people, the true people, a voice to be heard. So this guy right here, me, if you go over to crowdpack.com/C/Wildstar 4 you'll have an opportunity to donate, pledge, support towards my gubernatorial campaign, which will hopefully be very soon if we're able to recall the governor of California. But if not, we'll be in 2022. So let's do this right now. My goal is $10,000. The sooner I can hit that, the better. So please make your contribution today. And like I already exposed myself by saying my next show will be with my guest, G.I. Mary Jane. G.I. Mary Jane. She'll be here on the Black Side of Liberty next week, Tuesday. So please definitely come back where we talk to her about her being a marijuana enthusiast as well as being a journalist for Platoon420.com. Check them out. Check her out. And like I said, check me out next week, Tuesday, when I'll be talking to her right here on the Black Side of Liberty. So with I don't want to hold you guys any longer because I probably lost many of y'all a long time ago. But for all of you that are still sticking around, thank you for tuning in to the Black Side of Liberty with your man, Governor Wildstar. And please definitely come back next week, Tuesday, when we talk to G.I. Mary Jane. More coming soon. And till next time, long live liberty, y'all. Peace.